WWE fans are getting ready to rumble once again in the virtual ring as WWE 2K26 officially launches this week on Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC. Hey everyone, welcome into another edition of No Holds Barred here at the Toronto Sun. Joining me to talk about this year's game is designer at Visual Concepts, Cornell Gunter. Cornell, thanks so much for doing this, man. Congrats on the worldwide launch of the game this week. I know that early access is already underway. There's a lot of new features in this year's game that I want to get into, but just in the overall sense, going from 2K25 to 2K26, what were you and the team at WWE Games hoping to accomplish coming into this year's edition?
Well, first off, thank you so much for the invite. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. And speaking on 2K26, man, it's a lot that goes in from 25 to 26, especially like across the board. The launch, it's like a laundry list. But if you want to look at like on core things, like looking at gameplay right now, we had early access previously that just released this past Friday on March 3rd. And one of the coolest things that actually happened, I'm sorry, March 6th. One of the coolest things that actually you see on social media right now is like the ragdoll system that being implemented. So you see, players German suplexing other opponents all throughout our game, off ledges and the scrapyard, off ambulances, off the Hell in a Cell, which is like crazy. Which was a big thing for us on the gameplay side because previously in 2K25, if you're near a ledge or somewhere that has like an open area when you suplex somebody, it's like an invisible wall. They will not go nowhere. You're like, oh man, I wish. Like, oh man, I wish for that this year. You don't have to wish anymore. We provided that. Um, and that's one of the many things from gameplay. But then overall, the experience of WWE 2K26, it's a lot more grander. It's a lot more richer than what WWE 2K25 is. We really honed on the player experience of being a lot more smooth and a lot more easier for players to get in and play, but also being able to add a lot more meat onto our returning modes of the island, my faction, my GM, universe mode, and we introduced something new called Ringside Pass as well, where we provide DLC superstars, but also being able to loop in and tie in a lot more different content rewards, which is like we have 6 seasons, so we have over 100 plus rewards per season, which is like the most content we've ever given out, period. So like it's a really big year for us, and again, we're very excited.
Yeah, I love that you brought up the ragdoll physics. I know a lot of people online have been, talking about that, sharing the clips and the videos of, what they're able to do in game, and it's pretty wild. I mean, it seems sort of endless the types of things that you can do in WWE 2K26, and with the weapons physics, people are, really being creative with the types of things they're doing in game. I also would mention, the interactive entrances, definitely one of the more fun things that you can do in this game. Taunting, playing with the pyro. I know in my early access and getting my hands on it, it's been pretty awesome to play around with that. You mentioned Ringside Pass, and that's something I'm really interested in. And of course, that's new to this year's game. DLC is such a huge part of games these days, and WWE 2K especially. What went into the thinking behind that? And you mentioned the upcoming seasons. How will that affect future DLC later this year?
Yes, so the thinking behind that is our previous DLC model. We felt like it needed a change. It needed like a nice shakeup to where we could be able to sustain our players' attention throughout the entire life cycle. Our previous model was, hey, these DLC superstars are available. You will be able to attain them, and then that was it. Whereas in this year, we're introducing the model where it's two tracks, premium and a free track, to where players do not have to immediately opt in to go premium. And there's 40 tiers, and throughout 40 tiers on both tracks, there's a crazy amount of rewards that the players will get. And the biggest thing for us is like we're able to then stretch out the life cycle of a player's journey and progression throughout the entire life cycle. Instead of being a couple days, now they have, each season is 6 weeks. So essentially they have 6 weeks intervals, 6 times throughout the year. And one of the best and key things about our season pass is that they do not expire. So if season one comes out and you don't get back on to season three, you can go back and play all that content and play to get all that content, obtain all that content without any fear of missing out on anything.
Yeah, that's amazing. For people picking up the game later in the year, they will not miss out on anything. 2K Showcase, one of the more popular player modes where we get to relive the careers of some of the all-time greats. Last year was the Bloodline, of course. This year, CM Punk. I know the first thing I did with early access was attempt the new Gauntlet mode, try to finish in one shot. I think I made it through the first two wrestlers, and that was it for me. It's definitely for more seasoned players and people that are expert at this game. Let's put it that way. How much time and effort is spent on Showcase? Because it's incredibly detailed, not only with the cutscenes but the player models. Like it's so deep and it's so rich that that mode specifically when players are able to dive into it.
Man, it's a lot of time to spend on Showcase. So Showcase is spearheaded by an amazing individual by the name of Dino. And he takes a lot of time and puts in so much time and effort into matches, the sequences in matches, the objectives, the superstars use, the unlockable legends, or if there's any new ones, like for instance, this year AJ Lee is an unlockable. Sorry for the spoilers for somebody in Showcase, but like that time, that attention, that effort, just it's not something that we take lightly, especially for Dino. Dino's at every single, like for instance, that you played through Showcase, that you saw in the trailer. CM Punk does have some pre-tape stuff with us where he's talking through the mode and be able to, Dino's there. He's able to talk to CM Punk, be able to get his feedback and suggestions on things, be able to just also be able to make sure that the mode and everything that's being talked about via VO or via the videos that we pre-tape speak exactly to what the player journey is.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to, see all the things that go into it. And you mentioned like the voiceovers and the videos with CM Punk definitely add a lot to it as well. Player feedback always a big topic. You're not the only video game company to ever hear about the good, the bad, and the ugly of what gamers think. How much do you take, what the community is saying, and how much do you take that into working, whether it's patches for the current game or future editions? Because you can only do so much. I think people aren't unrealistic about that. But when you're trying to figure out what can be improved on for the game for gamers, how much do you take that into account?
Everything. And I know that that might sound like a casting a wide net, but we do. We do not seek out compliments, and I believe I said this like on social before, but we don't seek out compliments. We want to get to the meat and potatoes of what exactly. If it's an issue, okay, cool, let us know, thank you, and then we go back to the team, and then we address it, and we have meetings on top of meetings to talk about ways that if it is an issue, we can fix it. If it's suggestions or feedback from the community, how can we tweak it? How can we tune it to where we can kind of meet the user's new expectation of what they would like? But then sometimes, some things do take a little bit more of, understanding of more time needs to be spent with the players for a certain thing because we don't want to make any knee-jerk reactions. But we also aren't going to sit on our hands and not do anything. So it's easy. It sounds easy when players hear it out loud, but it's a very, very hard thing internally to kind of navigate. But we do the best that we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Last thing for you, we touched on a lot of the game modes and the new features. Is there anything about this year's game that you personally, are excited for, excited to see in this one that you think people diving into it are really going to appreciate?
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things in this game that it got put in like our marketing stuff and like our campaigns for our launch stuff, but like the Scrapyard is one of the most insane environments you can ever play, and I believe in any video game. It's a very, very long, like, and some people call it levels or stages, but on WWE land we call it like an arena or a brawl area. It's a very, very big and broad arena. We can go all the way to the left side, all the way to the right side. We have a jump pad, we have an elevator, we have tables, we have shopping carts, we have all anything and everything you can think of all in one environment. We have a wrestling ring. There's like a nice little surprise thing where people can jump out of if you're playing offline. So it's like a whole bunch of different things you can do in there. You can stack up six, seven different tables and throw somebody through them. As I'm naming out stuff as it pops up, there's more stuff I want to name. But it's the thing about our game this year is we all make sure we communicate on one word, which is fun. We want to provide fun, man. We want to be able for our players to jump in and have a good time and have fun and be able to say, man, that was a fun experience. No matter if they're in the game for 5 minutes, 5 hours, we want to be able to say they walked away feeling that was fun. I want to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, no, that's what it's all about, man. It's all about fun. And I know for me playing what I've played so far in this year's game, it's been incredibly enjoyable. So congrats again, Cornell. I know
Thank
wrestling
you.
fans super psyched about this year's game. We wish you nothing but the best with the launch, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good day.